You know, it's funny. I don't know what to say to start the show.
All right. Intro.
Check your feelings at the door because your boys are back. Whether it's happening in the ring or on the screen, you know they've got something to say about it. Are you ready? He's Robb English. He's Clifford L. Johnson. They are WNA.
Sure, I'm Robb English.
I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
And we are WNA.
Hey.
That's probably the best opening to this show we've ever had.
Ever?
So we didn't have an episode last week, Cliff.
That is correct.
I was cruising the Caribbean.
Yep, and I was doing famous stuff.
Famous shit.
Yeah.
You want to tell anybody what you're working on now?
Right now, I'm working on a bunch of shit. So I'm working on a film.
I'm sorry, for a second there, I thought you were stopping it. I'm working on a man.
I'm working on a man. No, man, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. Right, I got a bunch of projects that I'm shooting. Getting ready to start coordinating a film Monday. I'm in process of managing a studio, Tie Def Studios here in Atlanta for their it's a post-production house. So we're going to be handling a lot of the editing for a bunch of films, TV shows, web series, whatever. Auditioning and just trying to, this summer is going to be pretty crazy. So just doing what I can, man. Got to stay relevant out in these streets and have some multiple streams of income. So
yeah,
that's my go-to right now.
I have a tan for probably the first time in 15 years.
You didn't put no suntan lotion on?
No, I did, but I burned, which is what I always do.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you put a marshmallow in the campfire.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And it actually became a tan, so I'm kind of impressed.
Nice.
For once in my life, I don't look like a reformed goth kid.
Robbie the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah. Oh, so here's the thing. We did record an episode for last week.
We did.
And it was a watch-along episode. We grabbed a few from the mighty list. And I thought it went well.
It did. It went very well.
It went very well. We got through all the matches, and we were wrapping the show up. And then Cliff noticed something.
Yeah. So there's this thing called a memory card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the memory card, there's gigabytes of data. Now, normally, as a smart guy, I have 3 SD cards that I record audio on. I have two 32 gigabyte cards, which can hold a shit ton of memory, of course. And then I have an 8 gig card that I usually use for the show. I usually just record on it, dump it, erase it, and keep recording on it. That's usually my go-to. I just grab it out, boom, 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 boom. So this lovely evening, I kind of forgot I deleted the information. I did. However, I forgot to take the beautiful trash and empty that. So technically, all of that information was still on the card. The card got filled up about, let's say, 20 minutes into our conversation, and I did not realize it until we were already an hour and a half, 2 hours into the show. So, needless to say, Robb was going out of town. I had a bunch of shit to do, and we did not get to getting the episode out. And I think we were pretty much spot on in our backlash predictions.
Yeah, funny enough. So
I may put it out at some point with just Robb's audio.
No. Don't torture everyone.
We'll see what happens.
We had a fun idea for what we were going to do with the audio, but Cliff didn't have time to.
Yeah, and that really sucked because I really had a bunch of shit that I was gonna say. I was literally just gonna re-record the audio and just keep Robb's and just chime in and say basically whatever the fuck I want to say.
And I had no response because it was recorded with me responding to something else.
But I didn't get a chance to do it. However, we may have a throwback episode one of these days, and I might just get around to it.
On Friday, I actually was in St. Thomas, so I had cell service that day.
Did you?
And yeah. And I kept checking throughout the day, hoping that the episode was there because I was actually excited to see what you were going to do with it. And then by probably by 7 p.m., I just gave up. We were getting ready to go back out into the sea. So I was like, all right, well, I guess he's not doing anything with it.
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. That's okay, though. So when I returned home, I had Backlash to watch. I had Raw to watch. I had SmackDown to watch. I didn't watch any of them.
I was going to say, did you watch any of it?
Because on the day we were coming home, we were flying home out of Puerto Rico. So again, had cell service. I'm sitting on a bus headed to the airport in Puerto Rico, and I start checking my phone because I haven't really been able to all week. And I go to PW Insider, and I start reading, what they're saying about Backlash. And all I'm reading is just like, fuck Backlash, fuck WWE. Worst pay-per-view in years, and I think to myself, I'm not going to watch this shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Until I get home and I read something about the Roman Reigns match. So I think everybody's kind of spot on because I've always been this way too. I've always been the person who believes that if you are the world champion, you are the main event.
True.
Okay? There are very, very, very rare instances in which a match that doesn't have a title behind it, a world title behind it, could be a main event over your world championship. The Undertaker Shawn Michaels WrestleMania matches. Those should be main event matches because you knew they were going to be epic matches. Mm-hmm. Things of that nature will, kind of be put on a pedestal to where, yes, this should be your last match of the night. So when everybody was up in arms that AJ and Nakamura did not get the main event slot, and yet Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe did, right off the bat, that ticked a check for me in the checkbox of what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
So then I start reading what happened. And shocker, Roman Reigns beat Samoa Joe, right?
What? No.
Yeah. They did that. And, you know, irritating as it is, because I am a huge Samoa Joe fan, and with the mic work and the character work that he's been doing since he returned from injury, I wanted them to surprise everybody and give him a win over Roman Reigns, even though I knew in the back of my mind it was not going to happen.
Very much so.
So when I saw Roman won, I was like, okay, there's everybody's, pardon the pun, backlash. I get it. But then I start thinking more and more about it. And I start reading what happened during the match with the crowd, and that made me tune into Backlash to watch this match alone. The crowd was rabid in their hatred.
Yeah, they took
for
a
Roman
big,
Reigns.
fat, steamy pile of poo on this match.
And smeared it all over the ring.
Oh, man.
I mean, they were angry.
Yes, they were.
So angry, they started walking out.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
So you think, okay, Vince, you're seeing this, right?
No, I don't think he's saying it.
And as we've said on the show before, we're not Roman haters. But I think we've started to come around to the, as we've talked about over the last several weeks, the booking choices they're making with him are not doing the already existing damage any favors of repairing it. It's like they want him to be the guy, but they're still booking like it's 1986 and he's Hulk Hogan. In that people are just going to be happy to see the hero win.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't understand. You have him get his ass whipped by Brock Lesnar multiple times, and then you expect everybody to give a shit when he, I mean, handily beats a character who people were really starting to get interested in.
Yeah, like he's supposed to be the next guy, and he cuts promos as if he's the next guy, but they keep treating him like he's not.
They keep treating him like he's an up-and-comer, but the guy's already been world champion a couple times. Right?
Yeah, yeah, everywhere else in the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about Roman Reigns. I wasn't talking
Are you talking about Roman?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, Roman, I mean, yeah, Roman, I don't know what the hell they're doing with him. Yeah. And
but he's not the underdog.
He can't be, because he beats everybody else. He's
moment,
only an underdog against Brock Lesnar.
Right.
And everybody's an underdog against Brock Lesnar.
So one moment you have him look weak against Brock Lesnar. Not even just like, oh, he tried. No, like you have him get his ass whipped, but he keeps kicking out, right? He keeps kicking out of the F5. Oh, he's, he might be the guy. And then you have him lose. And then you have that fucked up finish at Greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
And now Brock's gone. Roman's been cutting like whiny ass promos about getting screwed and blah, blah, blah. How are you getting screwed? You keep getting handed world title shots.
Right. I don't understand. I really don't understand that booking. Like, whose idea was it to make Roman a crybaby face?
Yeah, that's like, an excellent way to describe it. A crybaby face.
What he's doing is shit that an actual heel would do.
And my conspiracy theory all along has always been that they're booking him this way because Roman's been a heel all along and people just don't want to accept it. But now I feel like no, I'm beginning to think that you guys are just like dumb. Like you're not even understanding the story you're telling anymore.
Yeah,
If you don't understand the story you're telling, how are the people that are watching supposed to understand it?
right, especially the 10-year-olds. If I don't get it, the babies definitely aren't going to get it.
So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. You have him beat Joe handily. You have him come back out on Monday and he's whining again.
Right, that was the thing too. I'm like, dude, you just won. You won clean, but yet you're still talking about management. Like, you main evented a pay-per-view with no title.
Right.
It wasn't even a number one contenders match.
No, it was just a match.
It was just a match. Just a grudge match that had nothing to do with anything. It wasn't technically it was a Raw versus SmackDown match, but that wasn't even really amped up. It wasn't like they were like, oh yeah, this is gonna be for bragging rights for the co-branded shows. Our top guy versus your top guy who just so happens to not have championships. Joe technically hasn't won any championships in WWE besides the NXT championship, but not on the main roster.
Right.
So I don't understand where they're going with the booking as far as what they're doing with Joe. What they're doing with Roman Reigns, I'm still just completely baffled about, just because of the inconsistency and the incompetency of what they're doing with him. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm like, I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt, but it's really hard. It's really hard to like sit here and be a fan of what they're doing unless this is just a long-term plan to get us to hate Roman Reigns.
It makes you and I sound like huge hypocrites now, because we've been banging the drum for months about like, guys, get over it. Roman's the guy. You don't have to love him. You don't even have to really even like him, but this is the story they're telling. Tune out if you want to tune out. Don't watch his matches or whatever, but just to boo doesn't make any sense. But now, if you really sit back and look, especially over the last, several weeks since Mania, you're starting to see that I don't even think that Vince McMahon knows what he's doing with him anymore. Because it seems like, okay, if you're telling the story that he's the guy who is fighting against Vince McMahon and his quote-unquote boy Brock Lesnar, and Brock getting all the time off and getting to come and go when he wants, and I'm here busting my ass every week, and I'm the guy, and this and that, but you can't win the big match over and over and over again. So now you're the underdog to this one guy, but you're the only guy that keeps getting to fight this one guy.
Right.
And then you complain that you're getting screwed over against said guy. Well, how? You're getting the shots against him. You just can't beat him.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, until that guy being Brock, comes back, which now they're saying won't be until Money in the Bank, what are you doing? You're just running through the people on the roster who are now look even weaker getting beaten by you.
Right.
Because if they're getting beaten handily by you, but yet you're getting beaten handily by him, then it just means that nobody can stand up.
Nobody, right. And that's my thing now. It's like, what are they going to do? Like, who is going to actually contend for the Universal Championship now?
It's probably going to be Roman.
That's so stupid. That's like
I don't
dumbest.
see who else it could be.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're not even doing like number one contender stuff.
No.
Like, how do you have a world title and you don't have a number one contender? Like everybody's going for Money in the Bank, but nobody wants to try to get the Universal title? That doesn't make sense to me.
And it almost seems like Vince keeps pushing back Roman beating Brock in the hopes that he can find the right story to tell that will finally get the crowd to go, okay, we accept him now.
Right.
But he keeps painting himself into a corner to where he can never find that angle. You know why? Because it's not going to happen. If they are going to boo him, regardless of who he's in the ring with, he's been kind of feuding with Jinder over the last 2 weeks. Guess who's getting cheered against him?
Right.
Jinder. Jinder Mahal is getting cheered against Roman Reigns.
Yeah. That's funny.
I bet you anything right now, okay? There's not a single person you could put in the ring against. You could put Baron Corbin in there against Roman Reigns. And the crowd will chant for Baron Corbin.
Yeah. I could dig it.
Okay? You could put Disco Inferno in there against Roman Reigns, and the crowd will be chanting Disco Fever. It's the experiment has failed.
Man.
And
terribly.
You've been working on it for 4 fucking years. It's time to go back to the drawing board with this character.
Man. Give us a new hero, man.
But who? Who do you give them now?
I don't know. Just put Daniel Bryan on Raw, man, and call it a
But
day.
here's the thing, okay? Here's where I get really depressed when I think about this now, okay? Who do you put in that role? Okay?
Only one right now you can put in, honestly, is Seth Rollins.
Okay, I could get behind that. But here's the other issue I have. Right now, Seth is the most popular that he's ever been.
Right.
But as a face, something is always just a little missing, right? Right now, he seems to have found that stride.
Yeah.
Okay? Have the great matches. Don't be an over-the-top sappy babyface. Don't be the hero. Just be the dude that comes out and is ready to fight and's got the badass theme song and, be the guy. Be that guy.
Be the guy to burn it down!
Exactly. Okay?
X-Pac!
Oh my God. You just ruined that song for me.
That's everything that he does is just DX.
He's even got the green and black shit now.
He's got the green and black. He's literally
X-Pac.
Generation Seth. Like seriously, think about it.
If he starts doing crotch chops, it's over.
He's been doing the face buster.
Yep.
He does the Triple H. Well, he was doing the pedigree for a while. Now he stopped doing that.
He throws a lot of super kicks.
He throws the super kick. He does the stomp now when he's doing his when he's setting up for the blackout.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's Degeneration Seth.
Okay, so it could be Seth, right? But I've always felt, and I still do, Seth should be your main heel.
Should be, yes.
Okay, he's just perfect as a heel. His moveset is a baby face, but you can dial it back a little bit. Or you can be kind of a new age heel in that you can work your ass off and still be a shit. Be the guy that people just want to boo. Okay, so you could make an argument for Seth, but your other guy that you'd make an argument for would be like a Braun Strowman. But as
Right.
a number one guy babyface character who's also this unbeatable machine, well, where's the fun in that? He's just going to run through it. He's Brock Lesnar 2.0.
Right. But if anybody could have that, I would give it to Braun right now. Let somebody on the roster get that type of push. And they were doing that for a while with Braun until he came up against Brock Lesnar.
You know who Braun Strowman is to me now, as far as like the role I see him playing from here on out?
Big Show?
Kane.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy who's always right there in the mix, but is never going to be a long-term champion because of the character he is. You can't have an unbeatable babyface champion.
Yeah.
You can as a heel. That's why Brock works. But even now, it's old. Even though the guy shows up like 5 times a year, it's old now.
Yeah.
Right? So who else do you got? You go, oh, well, AJ Styles. Well, AJ Styles is about to be 41.
Yep.
Okay, well, maybe Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, Shinsuke Nakamura is just now kind of connecting with the crowd, but as a heel.
As a heel.
Okay, well,
And
Bobby
Balor?
Roode. Nope, Bobby Roode is not popular enough. And he is far better as a heel than he is a babyface. Okay, well, Finn Balor.
Yep.
Finn Balor is like 5'9". And he's not really, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, he's good in the ring. But there's always something off, right? There's always something missing. Is it the fact that he constantly smiles?
Yeah, is that just his gimmick?
I don't know what it
all
is.
the time?
He just fucking smiles all the goddamn time.
Are they trying to get the demon away from him?
I don't know. Okay, well then why not somebody like who else could it be?
Matt Hardy.
Nope. That character's dead in the water. Can't be Bray Wyatt. You destroyed that character. Who else you got?
Faces?
So you say Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah, he's the only one.
They're never going to push him as a long-term champion. I guarantee it. 100% guarantee it. The same reason why they never would for Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And when I say they, I don't mean WWE as a whole. I mean Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Right.
Because if Vince towers over his champion, he truly believes and will openly tell anyone, well, how is anybody supposed to believe that this guy can beat up somebody that looks like Brock Lesnar? Mm-hmm. I'm bigger than him. Yeah. And Daniel Bryan is a legit 5'8", 5'10", if that. Mm-hmm. And he's smaller now than he was when he was, uber popular.
Yeah, I think he said in an interview, I think that was Jericho's podcast, he said he was at like 165?
Yeah.
Or 185, something like that.
And in his ROH days and his, before he left WWE, he probably was a legit like 189, 190.
Yeah.
But now he looks every bit of 160.
Yeah.
And you hate to use that as kind of your barometer for whether or not they're going to push a guy, because it doesn't matter how big you are. If you can whip somebody's ass, you can whip somebody's ass.
Yeah.
But
I think actually the credibility of him tapping out Big Cass kind of makes it work. Because you can see that, okay, he can beat up and beat down a giant. Like, I actually I haven't watched much of wrestling this week, but I did catch that segment with him and Big Cass
Where
on
he heel hooked him.
SmackDown today. Yeah, he
Well,
beat the crap out of him.
when it comes to him, I'll believe it when I see it. But previous history for me tells me that I don't doubt that he will become world champion again, but I don't believe that it will be a, run anywhere short of or longer than, a 3 to 6 month reign. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see it. It'll
True.
be, hey, here you go. Here's the storybook ending. You won again.
Right.
Now give the belt back to
let's give it back.
somebody that's over 6'2". So it's like your only option at this point is Roman, and you've ruined him. But you wonder if there was really anything they could do with him, because nothing was connecting. The only thing that ever connected with him was when he was in the Shield, and you used him as what?
Enforcer.
A beast.
Yeah.
He was the fucking Kraken. When shit was going down, unleash Roman. But then you turned him into what you always do. Comic book character, sappy babyface.
Yep.
And that worked in the 80s. That hasn't worked since. So I don't know. It depresses the shit out of me, because now I'm like,
you're like, what are you gonna do, man?
I just don't get it. I don't know what you're doing now.
Yeah. I don't either.
But I also think that now you're seeing Vince just kind of literally throw things up against a wall to see what sticks, and nothing's sticking. So he keeps pushing it further and pushing it further and pushing it further back. But at what point do you just throw your hands up and go, fuck it? I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
Saying fuck it?
Yep. Because what's the point?
You don't love it?
No, not at all. Nope. I do not. I actually hate it.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Do you think that it's kind of eroding the audience a little bit, or do you think that?
Yeah, because this is the thing, right? Okay, so even to somebody who just started watching wrestling versus those that have been watching for the last 4 years, you figure you start watching wrestling for real, like at around age 10 or 12, right?
Okay.
Where it actually starts making sense to you. Mm-hmm. And it's not just like, oh, cool.
Look at the one guy hitting the other guy, and then he jumps and he flies, and yeah.
So about 10 or 12 is when you start really paying attention and getting to, okay, John Cena's my favorite wrestler, or such and such. I like him because he's cool, da-da-da-da-da. And so you figure, okay, 10 to 12, now you're 14 to 16. You're a teenager now. And you've had the same fucking Roman bullshit happening for 4 years. And he's still at the top of the card, no matter what. But now it's just like he's completely different. He's not the same guy that he was when he was with the Shield. And they don't push him, or they don't book him like a winner. They book him like he's a favorite.
He's better than everybody else, but he's not better when it matters.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then you're supposed to believe that he can beat you, or he can beat anybody, but he can't beat Brock Lesnar. But now he's still supposed to be at the top of the card. It's like, no, dude, you lost the championship. You're back to the fucking bottom of the bag. Like you shouldn't lose 2 championship matches and then main event a pay-per-view without the championship. Like that makes absolutely no sense to me. So I don't even know if you caught some of the old or some of the tweets from the weekend, but I immediately when AJ and Shinsuke were coming up, I'm like, whoa. How is the WWE Championship not the main event? There is no other belt.
Right. Brock is not there.
There wasn't even a special attraction match. I was like, okay, if there was like a Backlash themed if
there was like
match,
War Games during Backlash, then yeah, that would be your main event.
But I'm like, wait, but it's because y'all booked that old ridiculous, stupid ending to Shinsuke AJ. That's why you had Joe and Roman go on last?
Okay, wait. We're going to side quest for a second here, okay?
Yeah, we can just segue into that because I'm tired of talking about Roman anyway.
Okay.
Fuck him.
The Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles feud. I was fucking rock hard thinking about the possibilities of what could happen with this feud just based off of their New Japan stuff alone. But you've now had, including tonight's SmackDown, because we're recording this on Tuesday, 4 matches. 4 in what, 3 to 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. 4 matches. 2 of them had non-finishes. So 50% of these matches, there's been no resolution.
Right.
And none of the matches, dare I say, have been even close to what their New Japan matches were.
Oh, wait. Is this you comparing them to New Japan now?
To a point, yes. Okay.
I'm on your side.
I
just like to point out your hypocrisy sometimes. Continue.
Yeah, please do. But here's the thing. I don't think anything they will do will be close to that. Okay? Because that's just not what WWE is.
It's not the same.
But in a WWE style match, you can still, if anybody's going to be able to work around it and have an amazing match, it's going to be an AJ Styles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Speaking of amazing match, sorry. I'm watching 205 Live, of course, as we usually do during this time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't know who this Webster guy
Flash
from UK
Morgan Webster,
is.
yeah, just debuted.
I like him.
Oh, Flash Morgan Webster's dope.
Jeez. And he just did, like, an inverted senton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen that standing before.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice. All right, continue. AJ Shinsuke, my bad.
So those guys should be able to pull something out, and I have yet to see anything out of these 4 matches that has made me go, all right, this has been fun. Tonight's match was probably, in my opinion, one of the better ones out of the 4. But here's my issue. This dream feud has quickly become wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Because they keep fighting each other. Tonight's match, tell me if this makes any sense. Tonight's match was just so they could determine what type of match they're going to have when they fight for a 5th time at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that was the absolute... Why? I couldn't even...
Have a tag match.
Something. Now, I didn't know, because I didn't watch all of SmackDown, I didn't know that was the stipulation, because I had been going back and forth watching the Cavs and Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I flipped through to SmackDown, I saw like the last 10 minutes of the match. And so here I was thinking, holy shit, Shinsuke Nakamura just won the WWE Championship. Because I know that I watched something Shane had said, we're definitely going to have a winner. So I'm thinking that, oh shit, they just said they're going to have the match tonight.
Right.
And so I unmute it, and it's like, I'm thinking they're like, getting ready to say, and new. And it's just like, Shinsuke Nakamura gets a win over the WWE champion. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Where's the belt?
Right.
He beat him clean.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to jump in.
Yeah, no, I was just like, so he beat him clean, like he won the title. But they're like, I didn't hear them say and new, and then they start talking about the stipulation, and I'm like, oh, are you serious? They just had a championship match, so you're gonna let their next match be to get the stipulation for their next championship match?
Right.
Like, that's so dumb.
I've never, ever, ever liked the let's have two people fight, a champion and a challenger. It's non-title. Challenger wins, so now he gets a rematch against the champion because obviously he's shown he can beat him. Here you go. That only makes sense if it's like an out of the blue, what looks like a fluke win.
Right.
But when you have somebody established fight somebody who's established, and the established guy beats the established guy, okay, so give them the fucking belt because
they just beat them in a singles match.
right.
But because the title wasn't technically on the line, I mean, like certain stuff, I get it. Like the one that when they had AJ lose to John Cena so that Cena could get into the Elimination Chamber or whatever it was that he did. That made sense. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, I don't care about the title right now. I just want to, if I can beat the champ, I can get into this match. And it's just like, but even then, it's like, if that was the case, then you should have make it a championship match. And then if he wins, he'll just have to defend it at the pay-per-view. Like, but I don't know. It's what they've been doing is crazy.
A lot of the things that they've been doing lately have been really like, I don't even think you guys watch your own show.
No, I just think that they think that we don't watch from week to week. It's like 3 million new people every week.
True.
Even though it's pretty much the same 3 million people that are watching every week, because
Right.
It's just like me. Like, I'm not going to watch this shit next week, and then I watch it. But I wonder how many more people are going to get like me when they're like, man, I'm not going to watch this shit next week, and then they don't fucking watch it next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's getting to that point. Like, I go through ebbs and flows of wrestling.
Right.
And I've been, watching it a lot more lately, being a part of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets to a point to where, when we first started, it was like the super fan, the fair weather fan, and the maybe every once in a while fan.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become that. Yeah, I mean, I guess
Right.
I'll watch it maybe because of the booking and the, like I'm all for like storyline. You know what I mean? I get it. If you want to set up Brock Lesnar versus Roman a year in advance, then cool. I'm all for it. But how do you have that year build up and not pay it off? So now it's just like, oh, okay, so we've been invested into this for nothing. And that's the same thing that they're doing right now with Shinsuke and AJ. It's like they built up to WrestleMania this dream match. Oh my God, it's the greatest match to ever happen on WWE TV. And then Shinsuke goes heel. And we're going to have another one. And then we're going to have another one. And then we're going to have another one. Now we're going to have one more. And it's just like, bruh. Like, you have lost or not won four times.
Yeah.
3 times, really, technically. And then, okay, yeah, he won tonight. But tonight shouldn't even have been a fucking match.
Right. Like I said, have a tag match. Or
Right.
You know what would have made even more sense to me? Something that they've done in the past. How about you go, okay, okay, I'm Paige. I say, Shinsuke Nakamura, you choose an opponent for AJ Styles. AJ Styles, you choose an opponent for Shinsuke Nakamura. If either of you win your match, whoever won the match the fastest gets to determine the stipulation for your championship match at Money in the Bank.
Right. You keep them both strong going into the pay-per-view.
Right.
Instead of having your champion lose cleanly
to the challenger.
Yeah, I don't know who comes up with this shit.
But you just keep throwing the match on there hoping to pop a rating, it seems, and it's not happening.
Because at this point, ain't nothing's going to pop a rating anymore.
No. The only thing that's going to pop a rating anymore is if you do something different.
Right.
But there's nothing different on the horizon anymore. Because anytime somebody starts to rise up, they put that thumb down on them to try to squash it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Look at the UK division. They've been gestating this UK division for 2 fucking years because they were worried that World of Sport was going to make a dent in their business in the UK. The UK wrestling scene is one of the hottest scenes right now in the world. World of Sport, very famous program, was on for decades in the UK. They were going to try to bring it back and do like a weekly show because of how hot the scene is over there. So WWE realizes what's happening and basically goes out and signs all the biggest UK wrestlers they can. They re-sign Jim Ross, the guy who they fired for the 4th fucking time. You know, legendary announcer, but the guy was moving on and was going to go announce World of Sport. So they signed him. He's still signed. And he's worked like, 7 times?
Yeah.
In the last 2 years? Okay. So they keep signing all these UK guys. And then they don't do anything. They don't do anything with it after they have that tournament because they were talking about, we're going to have a weekly show. Well, then World of Sport goes, well, we can't do anything. You signed all the guys. So, okay. Well, hey, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, you guys want to come over and pop up on NXT every couple of weeks then for the next 2 years?
Right.
But now World of Sport is doing something. So what does WWE do? They go out.
Talent raid.
And they start signing all the UK guys again. And now they're saying, we're getting ready to do another UK tournament. And we're going to announce something. We're finally going to do a show, a weekly show in the UK. Word is they've signed El Ligero, Eddie Dennis, Chris Brooks, Travis Banks, Joe Coffey, Tony Storm, Dave Mastiff. They may not have signed all of them, but they are in negotiations to do so. And here we are, we're watching 205 Live right now. They're in the UK, and you got Flash Morgan Webster. You've got Kenny Williams. You know, you got Tyler Bates showing up in there. Joseph Connors. You got all these people popping up that apparently you are You're not going to put them on your TV unless you got them signed to some kind of deal, right?
Right.
WWE's not that dumb. So they're trying to squash it. Well,
but what does that get them, though?
It gets them a monopoly. It gets them that their style is the only style that matters in the world.
But even so, like, what does that do for wrestling? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't do anything for wrestling. That's the point. They will tell you all day that, competition is good. But competition is only good if they control the competition.
Right. That's the thing. It's just like, and I get it. Like, I mean, a lot of these guys are like, yeah, man, it's my dream to work for the WWE.
Because it's the big league.
That's it. Yeah. It's like, it's like, yeah, man, if I could get signed, let's say I'm playing over in Europe, I'm playing, I'm playing for Lithuania.
Yeah, you're one of the Ball brothers.
Yeah, but somebody from the NBA is like, hey man, we want to sign you over here, but we're going to put you on the
D League,
the G League.
Okay, yeah,
and you're like, oh hell yeah, man, because that's a step closer to the NBA. Hell yeah, I'll sign over there, even though I was making pretty good money in Lithuania. But it's just like, man, it's the G League, man. That's right below the NBA, man. I'll be working for a farm team. I'll be in the league, and it's like, it makes sense. But what like? There's so many talented basketball players, and back to this, there's so many talented wrestlers that you can't just have all of the talent under your thumb and then just keep them for what?
But that's exactly what they do. Okay. Look at Neville. Where's Neville been?
Sitting at the crib, collecting checks.
No, he's not collecting checks because he's not working.
What?
But his contract is frozen.
How, Sway?
Because the contract has language in it that says you cannot wrestle anywhere else in the world without us releasing you from your contract.
Right, but how would he not be getting paid?
Because he's not working. If he's not injured and he's not working, they don't have to pay him his downside.
What? So what the hell is he doing?
He's just fucking, I don't know, reading books and, eating. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But he doesn't want to come back. He wants to work elsewhere.
Just ride his contract out?
But they won't let him ride his contract out. The only way they're going to let him ride his contract out is if he comes back and works. And that means you come back and we job the fuck out of you until your contract is over. And then about 90 days or 6 months out before your contract is over, we'll just sit you at home and pay you like we did to Ryback.
Yeah.
And what the fuck happened to Ryback?
Yep, fell off.
Exactly. That's what they want to do to Neville. You don't have to stay here, but we're not just going to let you go and have you show up in Impact or have you show up in New Japan or have you show up in your home country and be the biggest character on that show when you left on your own terms. Yeah. You leave when we tell you can leave.
They're the big bad wolf, man.
So when you look at it from that point of view, that's where what we're probably going to close out the show talking about, All In.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hey, I know it's sold out technically, but I'm pretty sure a couple of those tickets are scalpers.
Oh, there's
sure
tons
we'll be able to
of
find
scalpers.
them. We'll be able to find them on StubHub or, Ticket Grab or whatever the hell website it is, Craigslist even. We need to make that a priority. I'm just putting it out there right now.
I'm not paying those StubHub tickets prices.
What?
Have you looked at what those prices are?
I haven't looked at them now, but
Go
I'm
look at
sure
'em.
they're
Go look
not
at
going to
them.
be ridiculous.
They're about 4 times higher than they were selling for.
Well, of course they are, because you didn't catch them. But that's about any event. That's anything that you do that's less of a, regular NBA season game. Yeah, you're definitely
Well, had I
specialty.
known that this was something you were interested in doing, I would have tried to get us at the StarCast convention that goes with it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on. It's like a whole weekend of stuff going
Wrestling podcast convention that goes on that weekend.
on. Yeah. You're terrible. You don't
Yeah,
care.
well, you shut your fucking mouth.
Anywho.
Okay, so All In.
All In.
For those that do not know what that is, because again, as we've said many, many times, we do have people that listen to this that are not wrestling fans. The Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, formerly of WWE, son of Dusty Rhodes.
His name is Cody.
Well, on television, his name is Cody.
It's just Cody.
They did something that is kind of unheard of. They just decided that, you know what, it was on a whim. Somebody made a comment to Dave Meltzer on Twitter, and Meltzer said something to the effect of, nobody aside from WWE is going to sell out a 10,000 seat arena. And Cody Rhodes basically said, I'll bet you we can.
Here's my penis. Let me pull it out. And schlank.
They decided to book their own venue and start bringing in talents for the show. And they were calling it All In. And anytime they announced a new person, it was something on Twitter. It was their picture over a gray background with the words All In behind them, right? They had not announced a single match for the show. They said the show's going to be September 1st. It's going to be in Chicago. Tickets go on sale this day.
Mm-hmm.
A show not under any banner at all. They are getting some assistance from Ring of Honor as far as infrastructure, for the planning of the show. But this is not a Ring of Honor branded show. It is not a New Japan branded show, even though there are some New Japan wrestlers that are going to be performing.
Mm-hmm.
This show went on sale and sold out in 30 minutes.
8 minutes.
Less than 30 minutes. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, let me point something out here. Again, I say this is not under anybody's banner. This is just some wrestlers saying, we're going to put on a show in a 10,000 seat arena.
Yep.
Hey, Cliff, do you know what the paid attendance was for Raw last week?
About 12,000.
Nope, 9,000.
Shut up.
And that wasn't a sellout.
Wow.
Do you know what the paid attendance for SmackDown was last week?
Ooh, if it wasn't Raw, I'm going to go with 8,000.
Try 6,000.
Wow.
And that was, again, not a sellout. This is a sellout in a 10,000 seat arena. And if it's sold out in less than 30 minutes, that tells you they probably could have sold 20,000.
15 or 20, right?
So why is this a big deal? Well, it tells you that there are fans out there that A, are that passionate about the Young Bucks and Cody, the Bullet Club, or the Elite in general, that they were able to sell those kind of tickets with no television marketing, nothing. This was all word of mouth and on fucking Twitter.
Social media, yep.
It's somebody who doesn't even have television. Okay? It's really unheard of. But it's exciting in that what has come of this now is at the press conference that they had, they announced that Cody is going to challenge Nick Aldis for the NWA championship there.
Mm-hmm.
This ties
Is that
back
the
into
NWA that's bought by
Billy Corgan from
Billy
Smashing
Corgan?
Pumpkins. Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about it several episodes ago when it was discovered that Billy Corgan bought the rights to the NWA. The NWA, the oldest wrestling federation in the world. Our WNA is legitimately a play off of that.
Right.
When we were trying to come up with the name of it, I said we should try to find one that we can do initials like a wrestling, company. And I think Ed threw out NWA, and I said, well, no, Wrestling Nerds Alliance. We'll just do WNA. Okay, NWA. The rights to that name has been bought out by Billy Corgan, and the NWA Championship. The NWA Championship was the World Championship back in the day. Ric Flair, Cody's father, Dusty Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
When you wore that belt, you were the property of the NWA, and you traveled around the world and defended that title against the local wrestler wherever you went. So now we joked episodes ago, it's a dead brand. What's Billy Corgan going to do with it? Now being associated with this, he just gave that company a major shot in the arm.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me you don't believe Cody's going to win that belt.
Oh, he's got to.
So now
he's the hottest thing. He's the hottest thing in wrestling right now.
So now if he wins the belt and he starts traveling around, there's going to be an All-In 2.
Mm-hmm.
And if NWA continues their association with it, they could spin this off into a revival for them on television. You may not have a legitimate number 2 out there, but you may have...
in television-wise, no.
But you may have a legitimate alternative.
Yeah.
And that's what I think fans are showing they want. WWE always says competition is good, but like we said a moment ago, WWE really means competition is good when you control the competition.
Right.
The split brands, Raw and SmackDown, that was what it was meant to be all along. When WWE bought WCW, legitimately they were going to do WWE brand and WCW brand.
Mm-hmm.
But Vince just said, well, it's got to be just like WWE. Well, no, the whole point of why people like WCW is it wasn't WWE.
Because it was different, right? And that's the reason why NXT has gotten so much popular. Because it's still WWE. It's still owned and operated by the WWE, but it's different. It's outside of the normalcy that you see on Raw and SmackDown. It's a different look. It's a different way of presenting the product. And so for them to be able to do this, first of all, I haven't yet done so, but clap, soft clap, because my baby's asleep. But round of applause to Cody and the Young Bucks, man,
yes,
for even pulling this off. The whole thing is like, besides the Cody Magnus championship match, I don't think there's been any other matches even.
No.
It's just people that say they're going to be there.
Right.
It's just like Jay Lethal's all in.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega's all in.
Rey Mysterio.
Kazuchika Okada is all in.
Right.
And it's like, but what are they going to be doing?
Well, now, look at it from this point of view. Now, they've already sold the tickets.
Right, exactly. They can do whatever they want to.
What if they announce Kenny Omega versus Rey Mysterio?
Man. They can do whatever they want.
What if they fucking say Mysterio versus Okada?
Versus Okada? I'm just thinking of like all of the things that can happen at this show now.
Right.
Like, I know, like, I'm sure that Cody and the Bucks were shitting bricks leading up to this day.
Well, yeah, like you said, they literally put their fucking dick out on the table.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Right. You see the veins? Yeah. That's all me.
But if nobody wanted
to be all in you,
if nobody decided to take a peek, then what? You know?
Then what? So I am excited to see what can happen, and just the fact that they have so many names involved. Like, I am anxious also to see, like, you know, it's different when you're doing an indie show where you know, like, okay, I'm going to sign 5 names to come out to the show tonight. You know, for more than likely, they're probably going to go over my local talent. You know, I'll book maybe 1 or 2 dream matches and we'll figure out who can win that, or we'll have to book it so that one person stay, or that both people stay strong, or whatever they do, you know, when it's just an indie show and it's not like a promotion, you know what I mean? It's not like Ring of Honor where you have contracted wrestlers that are there all the time. You know, if it's just a one-off, you're like, oh man, how are you gonna book this? Like, it's no promotion, so it's like, you know, could you have Okada defending the New Japan World Heavyweight Championship or the IWGP Championship and lose it to somebody at this show? You know what I mean? Like, it's I'm just really anxious to see, like, what belts are they gonna defend. You know, it's because it's not a promotion. It's not like the All In Championship. Yeah. You know,
you could have
so,
the NWA Championship, the IWGP Championship. Ring of Honor could defend titles on it.
Yeah.
Hell, if they wanted to bring in dudes from
ICW.
PWG, they could do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's awesome. Like, it's absolutely insane. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they have some Lucha Underground people that are gonna be in it. I mean, there's people from all over. If WWE was smart, they'd let one of their guys go.
I mean, I would agree with you, but then I also see them going, well, he can't lose. And then that kind of takes away from what the show's supposed to be about. Even by letting one of those people, even if it was somebody like a Cassius Ohno, show up.
Yeah.
You're kind of already tarnishing what this show was supposed to be about. We don't need
you guys. That's what I was gonna say. But it would have been great to see Daniel Bryan show up.
And that was the plan.
I know.
That's why they hadn't announced a match. They thought Daniel Bryan was going to be leaving WWE by then. But then when it became clear that he wasn't, they moved forward without him. That's why Cody was kind of dropping hints. His contract
expires on September 1st.
That's why Cody was dropping hints and taunting him on social media, and then he just stopped out of nowhere.
Yeah. Is that like poaching? Could you? Is there such thing as like tampering in WWE? Or does that not matter?
There is.
Like, I know in the NBA you can't do that. But
there is, but I think in the case of All In, it wouldn't have mattered because there's no company behind it.
Oh yeah, it's just
Impact can't.
It's just some guys.
Impact can't start talking to Daniel Bryan while his contract's in there and saying, "Well, we'd love you to come to our company." That's tampering. Unless there's a specific window in the contract. Usually it's the last 90 days you can try to negotiate.
They're negotiating, okay. Huh. Well, I'll be.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what becomes of this. And now, the money they've already made off of that gate, they haven't even talked about, are they going to live stream this?
Oh, they're going to have to.
Do an pay-per-view and, sell it for
They're going to
$20 a pop.
Dude, they're going to make so much money on this.
Because now all the people that couldn't go and that look at those.
Exactly.
Bro.
It's definitely going to, they're either going to pay-per-view it, or they're going to Fight Network or Twitch stream. They're going to figure out some kind of way.
I mean,
to do
talk
it.
about a punk rock DIY, mentality. They're proving we don't need anyone.
Yeah.
We've become popular enough on, social media and YouTube to where we can have whatever we want.
Yep.
And as long as we deliver, they'll come back.
They'll come back, yeah. You're going to get the whole world talking about it. Definitely they're going to be the trending topic for that weekend.
Now, how long until WWE starts trying to sign all these people?
Do you think they'll do that? Because it's different. It's different from the UK guys, because the UK is kind of a niche market. The people that are going to be at this All In show, those are people that are established in other countries and other promotions.
For the most part, a lot of the UK guys currently, I don't know if because they're planning on doing the show, if they're offering full-time contracts, but a lot of the UK guys, like your Tyler Bate and your Trent Seven and Pete Dunne, they're almost on like a retainer.
Right.
They're getting paid a certain amount, as like a downside per year to, hey, we're your number one priority. You can work wherever you want as long as it's not television.
Right.
But I mean, I also point to the fact, like, I know I'm not finishing a thought when I say this, but if I don't say it right now, I'll probably lose this thought. Does this not prove to Vince and Triple H that Cody is a draw?
Oh, it has to prove. It has to prove. A draw means you sell out and you're the main event of the show.
That he could be a top level guy.
Oh, fuck yeah. But now that Cody has done this,
he doesn't need them.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't have to come back. They have to really
you gotta
make
think
it worth
about,
his while to have him come back.
Hell yeah. They have to be like, all right, look, Cody, we're going to give you a bigger contract, or the same kind of contract as Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be the only thing that could entice him. Like, yeah, we're going to give you all the money we can throw at you, and you're going to win the WWE Championship, your first pay-per-view back.
I would just say,
you know what I mean?
You're not going to Dolph Ziggler me if I come back.
Right.
I want it written in my contract that if I start to believe that you are not using me properly, or you're not using me in the manner in which you're telling me when you're trying to get me to sign, that I don't have to wait your 90 days. I don't have to be sat at home like Neville with my contract frozen. I can go.
Right, I can go. I can appear on another show
tomorrow,
the next day.
Yeah. I don't want your 90-day no-compete clause. Yeah. And WWE would be dumb if they gave him that kind of contract. But that's the point, is that now he is in the driver's seat for any kind of negotiations like that.
Exactly.
If he even wanted to.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, even if he wants to, he definitely doesn't need to. Because you think about what WWE has to cover as a company when it comes to just one Raw. Think about the amount of money that they have to come out of for one Raw. And think about the money that Cody and the Bucks are coming out of. But it's only them three. and they're getting the profits.
I mean, they are now in the position to be, in the truest sense of the word, independent contractors.
For sure.
WWE, the lettering of their contract says that their performers are independent contractors, which is why they do not have to offer them, certain perks, which is, they always say, oh, wrestlers should unionize, but nobody will, because they know that if they do, WWE will just change the way they pay people and change, the whole structure of things. You're not an independent contractor when you work for WWE, because you're told what to wear. You're told where to appear. You're told how to travel. You're told who to travel with. You're told
what to tweet.
You're told, they don't have to offer health care, but they choose to cover insurance or surgeries and things like that. But they don't have to if they don't want to. Look at Neville.
Right.
If he's an independent contractor, if he doesn't like what's being, offered there, he should be able to go and ply his trade somewhere else. But they say, no, you're stuck here. You are not going to work anywhere else until you finish out the term of this contract. And we don't have to pay you. But the Bucks and Cody could now be, in the truest sense of the word, independent contractors. If NWA was to sprout up and say, Cody, you're now our champion, we're going to have you on our television every week, he could say, sure. But I'm also going to go work for New Japan.
Right.
And I'm also going to go work for PWG. And
Ring of Honor.
I might pop up on Ring of Honor with your belt. Is that cool?
Yeah.
We could be...
As long as you don't drop
it. Right. We could be entering into an era where the wrestler is the brand and not the company.
And that's definitely the era that we're in. I mean, we're already heading towards it, but they've just proved that it's possible. And they've already proved it by what they did with their t-shirt sales.
Yeah. With Hot Topic.
Their merchandise, all that, what they did with Hot Topic.
They're getting their own Funko
Bullet
Pops.
Clubs. Yeah, like all of that stuff that like the Bullet Club has always been popular, but it hasn't been monetary. You know what I mean? Like when Fergal and those guys and Gallows and Anderson were Bullet Club, it was hot.
And what did WWE
but it
do?
Wasn't. They snatched them right
all
up.
of them, right?
But it wasn't, they weren't making hand over fist money. It wasn't until, Omega and the Bucks really sunk their teeth into it to where it started becoming profitable as an individual. And that's something that I did want to also try to figure out. It's like, who owns the rights to the Bullet Club?
New Japan.
It's New Japan. Yep. So that Hot Topic thing for any Bullet Club stuff goes to New Japan first?
If it says Bullet Club in particular, they are getting a cut of that, is my understanding. Yeah. Which is why you have shirts that have something a little more Bullet Club-esque, but it says American Nightmare, personal. Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
It looks like a Bullet Club logo, but it's Young Bucks, with the headband.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, they're brilliant for that, man. Like Pro Wrestling Tees and Hot Topic, all of that is just showcasing and showing that this day and age, the corporation doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Paying $1 million for a Super Bowl spot doesn't fucking matter. And this is something that I've actually learned, and I wouldn't say I learned it, but I heard watching a Gary V podcast, or listened to a Gary V podcast one day when he was talking about once the big corporations with the big money realize that it doesn't matter if you're paying $1 million for a Super Bowl ad anymore, then that's when shit is really going to change, because they're going to figure the shit out, and it's going to take a minute, but they're going to get in on this, on all this little extra money, this independent money.
Right.
And the mold will change again. But right now is the age of the entrepreneur. Right now is the age of the individual brand. And that's how I think that's going to ride out for a couple of years until the major corporations figure it out. You know, WWE would be smart if they let somebody like Cody do what he's doing, but also still be under the WWE brand.
Which, I think you will, if they're smart, you will start to see them treat their own network more like an ESPN. And what I mean by that is you're already kind of starting to see it in that they've let the Something to Wrestle With podcast on that network. It's under its banner, and they have a little bit of say-so over what can and cannot be said, but for the most part, they're letting them do their show on their network. WWE would be smart to start reaching out to some of these independent promotions and say, hey, if you give us a cut of X amount of, ticket sales from all your upcoming shows, we'll license your weekly television and put it on our network.
That's what WWE would be so smart if they did.
But Vince doesn't want to do that because these companies do not perform the WWE style of wrestling.
Yeah, but that's so dumb.
In his eyes, it's not.
It's so dumb. Just imagine, and even if, so I do remember at one point in time on the WWE network, they were actually, like, it was kind of like it was almost like a dirt sheet, but it was like just other news. So you could see WWE news, and then you can go on there and it'd be like, it'll have Impact results, and it'll have what's happening in wrestling in the world. But I just don't understand why they don't, like, WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment.
Well,
so they should be able to put all types of wrestling on their network.
And I think
even if
that will change if the old man is gone.
Well, yeah.
I feel like that's the vision that Triple H and Stephanie have. They understand that there's different flavors of ice cream out there. Mm-hmm. You can't keep serving everybody vanilla and expect them to keep wanting it over and over again. Because some chocolate just proved that they can sell out a 10,000 seat arena.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you will start to see that. But the problem with why they will not right now with him in charge, and I could eat my words tomorrow. They could announce something like this. But I feel like you won't see that because let's say they let, we were talking about it, so I'll use them, NWA. They let NWA on their network. And NWA presents a different in-ring product and a different presentation altogether from them. And their presence on the network gets more eyes for their product to where people start going to more and more of their shows. And then the NWA says, you know what? We don't need to be on your network anymore. Thanks. We just signed a deal with Spike TV. And now they've grown in popularity to the point to where they're a viable number 2, if not competitor for number 1, all because you gave them that foot in the door.
Yeah. That's a big
are starting to lose, market to them. You hurt your business by giving them that foot in the door. You should only be doing it to companies that do not have a chance to overtake you. or those that are going to perform the exact same style that you do, or those that you know you're going to say, we'll let you on our network, but here's what you can and cannot do on your show.
Now that I can understand that.
You cannot do pile drivers. You know, you cannot do mixed tag matches where the men can wrestle the women.
Right.
You know, things like that. I don't know. I just think it's all really, really exciting to see what's going to come of this.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the hell? I'd like to know what WWE people think about it too. Have they been like, congrats Cody or anything like that online or Twitter or anything like that?
I am certain there are people that are in that company right now, like your Dolph Zigglers, like your Zack Ryders, like your Kurt Hawkins, guys that never seem to be given a shot, that are going,
Right.
I wonder if it's worth sticking around here anymore.
Yeah. But it takes a special guy, man, because everybody can't. You got to think how many people have left the WWE and how many were able to do what Cody is doing,
which makes this that much bigger of a deal. He was the guy who was right in betting on himself. You know?
Yep.
Very, very, very interesting to see what's going to happen by the end of this year.
Yeah, and we need to figure out this StarCast shit too.
I'll check into it.
Oh, show.
You got anything else to add, sir?
I
know we were gone last week. Some people thought we were breaking up like Nikki and John.
That's some bullshit, by the way.
Well, that's what I was saying. It that much like our supposed breakup is a work. It's
it's for TV.
That one's being done for television. This one, no, it's just shit happened.
For sure. They're probably like, look, babe, we're going to split for 3 months, quote unquote. Then we're going to have the reunion show. And then we're going to have the John and Nikki wedding show.
Yep.
Because that's going to pop even more ratings. And we're going to get a different check because that won't be a Total Divas show. That'll just be John and Nick. That's going to be a totally separate show. So we're going to be able to have the show that's going to lead up to that. We're going to break up on Total Divas. We're going to get back together on the season finale. And then we're going to have the John and Nick wedding show. And it's just going to be leading up to the wedding. And then the season finale will be the wedding of that.
Kind of funny how this all went down just before the new season started, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go... then the next season of Total Bellas, I'm going to get pregnant. It's just like, okay. Then the season finale of that will be me giving birth. And then their baby and Daniel and Bree's baby are going to have a battle royal to, like, it's going to be insane. We're planning out the next 20 years of reality television with our children.
So, to our non-wrestling fans that listen to this episode, we apologize.
I don't apologize.
Because this was more just stream of consciousness talking about
I don't apologize.
Whatever.
Robb's always apologizing. When Robb says we, he meant him. And he's just trying to throw me in there for some odd reason. But
trying to make you seem like you're not a heartless person.
No, I have a huge heart. My heart is insanely it's enormous.
No, we're talking about your heart, not
well, that too, but but my heart is enormous.
Yeah.
How do you think it pumps so much blood?
True.
You know? Gotta have a lot of blood in that thing.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just, I just don't feel like being apologetic to things, especially if it's like pre-apologies. Like if you get online and you're like, oh man, my feelings are hurt because of such and such and such. And I'd be like, oh, you know what? My apologies. But I'm not pre-apologizing. Like, that's not me. But that's you, you know. White people guilt, I get it. I love it.
Oh, I like how you worked that in there. Nice.
Yes. You see, it's gotta be subtle.
That's
man.
right.
You got to weave it. Bobbing and weaving. Muhammad Ali out here, boy.
All right. Well, Muhammad Ali, I think it's about time to go home.
All right, well. I would just hold it. I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
Oh, okay. All right, there we go.
I thought you were at least gonna put some plugs in. Damn.
Oh,
jeez.
Okay. Twitter, WNA podcast, at that Robb guy, at Cliff Does It All, YouTube, Facebook. Go on iTunes, leave us a review.
Just stop it. I'm Clifford L. Johnson.
I'm doing what you told me to do, fucker.
Whatever. You're done.
No, I'm not done. Now I'm going to talk about our PWO brothers. Nah, fuck that. Now I'm done. I'm Robb English saying to you, when life hands you adversity, always kick out. Act 2.